Night had fallen, and I found myself in my garage, hands covered in grease, focused on my latest repair. That's when an unexpected noise rang out outside, pulling me away from my task. A figure approached, tall and elegant, her heels echoing on the concrete. I straightened up, wiping my hands on my already stained overalls. "Hello, my car broke down," she announced in a trembling voice, pointing to a stunning black coupe parked askew. A vehicle that seemed out of place here, just like her. "Well, it looks like you're in the right place," I replied in a neutral tone, although the contrast between her polished appearance and our rundown environment struck me. "Open the hood, I'll take a look," I suggested. She hesitated for a moment, glancing at her phone as if she had more important things to do. "You can fix it, right? I have a busy schedule," she asked, impatience palpable. "Let me see what's wrong first," I replied, grabbing my tools. As I inspected the engine, it quickly became evident that she knew nothing about cars. When I pointed out that the radiator was nearly empty and several connections were loose, she bit her lip, anxious. "Can you fix it or not?" "I can, but it might take a few hours," I said, holding back a smile. She sighed and began pacing in her heels, clearly frustrated. "Fine, I'll wait." After several hours of work, as the sun set, I informed her that everything was in order. Her relief was palpable. "Thank you. How much do I owe you?" I quoted a moderate amount. She blinked, rummaged through her designer handbag, and pulled out a stack of bills. "Keep the change," she said, handing me well more than I had asked for. "That's too much." I began to protest, but she was already making her way back to her car. "Consider it a tip," she called out before starting the engine, the roar fading into the cool night air. I didn't think about her again until there was a knock at my door later that evening as I settled in for a quiet night. Upon opening it, I found an impeccably dressed man with an envelope in hand. "Daniels?" he asked. "Yes, who wants to know?" I replied, tired. "I come on behalf of Miss Evelyn Carter." Her name didn't ring a bell until he added, "The woman whose car you repaired today." I furrowed my brow. "Is there a problem with the repair?" "No, not at all. Miss Carter wishes to thank you personally. She has an unconventional way of doing so." My instincts went on alert at the sight of the envelope. This wasn't a simple thank you. "May I come in?" asked the lawyer. I stepped aside to let him pass. He entered with the assurance of a man accustomed to high-stakes negotiations. His gaze briefly scanned my worn living room and battered furniture. "Have a seat," I said with a hint of sarcasm. He didn't sit. He simply handed me the envelope. "Miss Carter asked me to deliver this to you in person. She wishes to reward those who go above and beyond." I carefully opened the envelope, my rough fingers brushing against the smooth paper. Inside was a check, and my eyes widened at the amount. $50,000. I was stunned. "This can't be serious." "It's not a mistake," he assured me. "Miss Carter has her reasons." "What reasons?" I asked, doubt piercing my voice. "I fixed her car, not changed her life." He smiled slightly. "She's a very private woman, but she appreciates acts of kindness, especially from those who expect nothing in return." I stared at the check, my mind racing. With such an amount, I could pay off my debts, upgrade my workshop, maybe even consider expanding. But a lingering question remained. What was the catch? "What's the condition?" I asked, wary. "There are none," he replied easily. "It's a gift, plain and simple." I didn't fully believe him. People like her didn't throw money around carelessly. Still, I nodded and tucked the check back in the envelope. "If she has more repairs, she knows where to find me," I said, trying to keep things light. "Have a good evening, Mr. Daniels, and take care." He wished me as he left. The next day, as I was still trying to process the experience, another surprise awaited me. A black SUV pulled up in front of my shop, and Evelyn Carter stepped out, this time with an irresistible confidence and elegance. "Miss Carter," I said, wiping my hands. "I didn't expect to see you again so soon." "Call me Evelyn," she replied with a light smile. "I wanted to thank you in person." "Your lawyer didn't already do that?" I replied, trying to mask my nervousness. She laughed softly. "I suppose he did, but I think gratitude is better expressed face to face." She surveyed my workshop. "This is your garage, isn't it?" "For better or for worse?" I replied, mostly worse lately. "You're talented at what you do. You could charge double and people would still come," she said confidently. I explained that many couldn't afford a high price. She nodded, thoughtful. "What would you say if I could change that? Not just for you, but for the whole neighborhood." I frowned, perplexed. "What are you talking about?" She flashed a mysterious smile. "I have a proposal, but it's not something we can discuss here. Are you free for dinner tonight?" "Dinner with her?" I hesitated, unsure whether to feel flattered or suspicious. "I don't mix business and meals," I said cautiously. "Then consider it a favor," she replied in a tone that left no room for objection. Before I could protest, she slipped away. I found myself reflecting on what she had just said. Investing in me. "You have talent, Marcus," she said during our dinner. "More importantly, you have integrity. Those qualities are rare. I see potential not only in your work, but also in what you could accomplish for this community with the right support." I didn't know how to respond. Part of me wanted to seize this opportunity with both hands, while another wondered if it was a well-orchestrated joke. "Where's the catch?" I finally asked, a hint of worry in my voice. She smiled serenely. "No catch, just hard work and a shared vision. If you're interested, we finalize the paperwork and get to work. Otherwise, keep the check with no strings attached." I felt torn, but something told me that turning down this chance would be a mistake. In the days that followed, Evelyn outlined her plan in detail. She wanted to expand my workshop, acquire better equipment, and set up training programs for local youth eager to learn a trade. It seemed almost too good to be true. As she spoke, I began to believe in her vision. By the end of the week, I had signed the papers, and the transformation began almost immediately. The renovations to my garage progressed quickly, and I was amazed by the speed of the changes. The neighborhood began to talk about the workshop, attracting more customers. I realized this wasn't just a stroke of luck. It was a genuine opportunity to make a difference. Thanks to Evelyn, not only was I turning my business around, but I was also helping others change their lives. People flocked to learn, and as we formed a community, I understood that I had made the right decision. Because of her, I not only had a bright future ahead of me, but I could also contribute to making our neighborhood better. Thus, I found myself face to face with the unexpected, a moment that changed the course of my life. Sometimes, the best things arise from improbable circumstances. That night, as I closed my garage, I took a moment to appreciate the transformation in my life. Maybe it wasn't just about the financial gift, but an opportunity to learn, grow, and share. It had all started with a simple repair, but it had opened the doors to a future I could never have imagined.